Every tier list says they are the best tier list. Well, buckle up kiddos, because it is time for the worst Sacred Stones tier list. I've just run a bunch of community polls on my channel to find out how good you think the FE8 units are, and now I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. First up we have Erica. Yeah, sure, a lot of people love Erica. She's got amazing speed and luck and good supports, yada yada yada, but she also has noodle arms. Erica goes in F for 4 strength. Seth. Jagans are bad because they steal XP. We've known this for years, and yeah, sure, Seth can literally solo the whole game and has amazing growth and is better than every other playable character in the game, but when I was 12, someone told me that stealing XP is a crime, and 16 years later, that's still stuck in my brain. So Seth goes in E for Experience Thief. Franz, this dude has 3 swords? Oh my god, that's so many more swords than anyone else. He's amazing. Put him in S for swords. Gilliam, hot diggity damn, this boy is thick. Put him in C for chunky boy. Vanessa, oh wow, an early game flyer. She must be good, right? Wrong. Vanessa is so bad she can't even keep hold of her lance while she's flying. She's dropped so many lances that she started tying string around them so they don't fall out of the sky when she drops them. Vanessa goes into C for clumsy. Mulder, this is a simple one. I think everyone knows where this is going. He goes into B for boulder. Ross, Sacred Stones has barely any axe users. It's kind of upsetting. And here comes this little axe boy in chapter 2 trying to pretend he's a real unit, and it's the best thing about Sacred Stones. I'm putting him in A for axes. Garcia, his portrait is looking fully sideways. It's like he was in the middle of a conversation and then he heard a twig snap off to the right, and that's just how he's stuck. Every other character portrait ever is facing forwards at like a 45-degree angle. Why is he facing sideways? It upsets me so much. He goes in F for face forward, for God's sake. Naomi, this little girl is on the edge of tears at all times. Look at her official art. She looks like a gust of wind would give her a mental breakdown and produce enough tears to flood Renee. She goes into C for crybaby. Colm, this poor boy has to babysit Naomi. And yeah, he complains about it, but he still does it, doesn't he? He does such a good job of looking after her. He's such a... oh no. Oh, not that kind of looking after her. Hello, police? Hi, yeah, I'd like to report an incest. I don't care if they're not actually related, but in my mind, they're basically brother and sister, and this makes me uncomfortable. Colm goes into S for stepbrother. Arta, I know he's meant to be this meek and mild monk, but in my mind, he's just this kid.
I have the power of God and anime on my side! Wait,
Arta goes into B for Bible studies. Lute, she's a prodigy. She knows everything. She's read every book in Magvel. She goes in D for dork. Natasha, I have literally never used this unit. Never even been tempted to. Probably never will. She goes into B for bench warmer. Joshua, he has a really cool hat, but his animations don't have a hat, and I want the hat. Just give me the hat. It's not... You show me a hat and then you don't give me the hat. I want the hat. He goes into F for false advertising. Ephraim, he's a lord. He's got a lance. He's a smart little clever boy. He's good at the strategizing. He goes into D for doesn't pick fights he can't win. Ford, more like bad. Ford goes into C for cavalier. Kyle, he also goes into C for cavalier. I have nothing to say about these two, honestly. Orson, he betrayed everyone he's ever known in order to hang out with the corpse of his dead wife. So he's pretty metal, honestly. He goes into D for dead bodies are sexy. Tanner, hey, look, a Pegasus Knight that doesn't need string to keep hold of a weapon. Get her in the S tier. Amelia, uh-oh, the string's back. At least if she promotes to general, then the string becomes a chain, which is like 10 times cooler. She goes into S for I only recruited her for the speed wing. Inez, he's got a mallet, which I guess makes him cool nowadays. He goes into A for A rank bows. Garrick, this is literally the coolest dude ever. Muscles, scars, the ability to kill anyone in a single round of combat. He goes into C for Giga Chad. Tethys, she does the Macarena and everyone gets twice the energy they usually do. That's pretty good. I hear a lot of big companies are trying to get her in to double productivity in their departments. She goes into C for corporate events. Marissa, she's just the worst Myrmidon out of the 2 choices you get. She goes into B for bad Joshua. Loracle, she's a healer on a horse. That makes her good. She goes into C for Clip Clop. Dosler. This man is like the most supportive guy ever. Loracle is running around the continent spouting crap about vanquishing evil, and this poor man ends up doing literally all of the work. But whenever she makes a big speech, he's still like, hell yeah, Loracle, you go girl. He goes into B for BFF. Salah, This is just a worse version of Pent, unfortunately. He's still pretty good, but a trained Lute or Arta will probably outclass him. He goes into D for Discount Pent. Ewan. This kid is awful, but eventually he can learn to make little weird axe boys every turn, which is the most useful skill a person can possess. He goes into S for Summoner. Cormag. His brother gets killed and he becomes real grumpy for the rest of the game. He goes into A for Angry Boy. Renak. This guy literally just wants to earn minimum wage and his employer keeps refusing to pay him for his services. And when he tries to become self-employed, she guilt trips him into coming back to his old toxic work environment. He goes into B for workplace bullying. Dussel, sorry, that's from my personal folder. He goes into D for daddy. No, yeah, technically he can summon just as good as Ewan can, so he should go in the S tier too, but my boy Kratos would never forgive me, so he goes into F for fucking terrible. Mer. Ah, there's a cute little girl. She's so oh dear God, no. Mer goes into C for war crimes. Cyrene, she's the most forgettable playable unit in the game. She goes into F for forgettable. Onto the creature campaign units, we have Kellak. He's cool, but what the hell is this? His official artwork is the derpiest thing I've ever seen. He goes into D for don't look at this before bedtime. This is even worse. I don't want to look at this, so I'm putting him in F for fugly and moving on. Ismare. This woman is as bad as Garcia. Face forward for God's sake. Selena. I wish this woman was recruitable, but she does the classic Fire Emblem thing of dying out of loyalty to some evil person or whatever. She goes into D for dies pointlessly. Glenn. Everyone knows that Wyvern Knight is better than Wyvern Lord, and that's why he gets murdered by Volta in about 3 seconds. He goes into B for bad promotion decisions. Volta. He's dope, but he does spend the entire campaign stalking a teenage girl, so he goes into S for sexual predator. Hayden. Honestly, he's just kind of there. I forget he exists. I don't really have anything to say about him. He goes into B for boring. Fardo, I think he's pretty cool. It's kind of sad that he dies in the prologue. I'd have liked to have seen more of him in the main campaign, but he insists on staying behind instead of running with Seth and Erica. Fardo goes into D for going down with his ship. Leon. Everything about Leon online is either just a massive gush about him or romantic pairings with Erica or Ephraim. He goes into S for shipping. And that's it for creature campaign units, but oh boy, we're not done yet. Next up, we have Bruget or Bruget or whatever you freaking say it. This Maverick went and installed his own crit patch just so he could smurf on this soldier. It was like 8 against 1. I think he had the win in the bag, but he wanted to solo this man and rub his crits all over his face. He goes into S for style points. Entombed. These promoted revenants are hard-coded to give you a buttload of experience when you kill them, like a whole level every single time. It's awesome, especially when you give the kill to Seth in order to power level him because you can. They go into E for experience, baby! The child from chapter 6. This is my favourite green unit in Fire Emblem. The boss literally tried to feed her to a giant spider. That is f***ing gnarly. She goes into A for Fog of War. I think Fog is a cool game mechanic. It adds variety to the chapters. However, the fact that the AI cheats and knows exactly where you are at all times is bull. It goes into F for Fog. They can't all be bangers. Carlisle. This guy is just an incel that's obsessed with Ismare. He's so cringe, just lusting after her. He goes into S for simp. Sand. Again, it adds to chapter variety. It's a cool design idea, but it should only reduce movement by like 2 tiles. There's no way units should be moving 1 to 2 tiles per turn. That is straight garbage. It goes into C for
it's coarse, rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Two Faces of Evil. This is a really unique chapter, and I always like to give it an honourable mention in Sacred Stones videos. Pretty straightforward. It goes into E for egg. Morva. Poor Mer has had a pretty rough life, and then when she reunites with her dad, instead of finally returning home with the milk he went to get, he instead has turned into an undead monstrosity that tries to kill her. He goes into D for dead dad. Gleipnir. This is the only legendary weapon in the game that isn't effective against monsters. That is such a kick in the teeth. What the actual hell? It goes into B for bad game design. FE8 Luna. FE7 Luna is a hilarious weapon, and I'm so mad that they nerfed it. They took away all of its crit, which is what made it fun, and reduced its hit by 45%, making it completely unusable. I'm salty about it. Luna goes into C for
I can't believe you've done this.
the Demon King. This guy is literally the biggest bad dude you could possibly have in a game. He's so badass, but all it takes is a couple of bonks from an anime protagonist, and that's it, he's dead. Kind of underwhelming, to be honest. He goes into D for disappointing. And finally, saving the best till last, we have our Lord and Saviour Geb. who is the only unit that goes into 3 tiers on this list, B, C and E, for biggest creep ever. That's it. Thanks for watching my objectively bad tier list of the Sacred Stones. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this. Did you enjoy it more than a normal tier list? And do you want to see this for the other GBA Fire Emblem games? Catch you in the next one.